Hey, solos. So you want to go to Walt Disney World all by yourself for the holiday season, any holiday season, and you can't always get there. How can you bring some Disney solo magic into your life, both in the parks, well, we know about that, and out of the parks? Well, solo spoiler, one of the ways that you can do that is something we talked about actually on the podcast this year, which is bringing some of that magic into your home through things like food. And we're going to talk about that today. Hi, everyone. It's Samantha. Olaf may not know who Samantha is, but now you do. And welcome to Disney Solo Magic, the #1 podcast for solo travel to Disney World. In today's episode, I got the fortunate experience to be able to talk with Ashley Kraft, who has written multiple cookbooks related to Disney parks. And we talked all about her cookbook that came out last year called the Unofficial Disney Parks Holiday Cookbook. It was published by Adams Media, which is an imprint of Simon & Schuster, and it is a great, handy cookbook to talk about all of the different holidays around the Walt Disney World properties and all of the different recipes that you can bring some of that holiday Disney magic into your life. And it was just really, really wonderful to talk with her. And here's a little spoiler, we have already planned to talk with each other twice next year. So I'm really excited that we got to make this connection, and I'm really excited that I'm going to make some food from the cookbook. So there you go. Stay tuned for that. You can connect with Ashley in the links below in the episode description, as well as some links to her books also below. You can connect with me on all of my social media also below. Please make sure you rate, review, subscribe, all of that stuff. That's so wonderful. There's a Patreon, and yeah, it's just really wonderful to be able to connect with more people who love talking about the Disney magic. And it was so great because in our conversation that we started reminiscing about these experiences that are specific memories related to the food. And that's what is so special about Disney magic at home, because you can really, really pull that magic of the parks into these spaces that might not feel so magical, like the daily spaces. And that's especially true and important during the holidays because of how hectic it can be. And we talk about this in the episode, but this is not just a Christmas or Thanksgiving cookbook. It's really all the different holidays. And that's why that's why it's a great book to pick up. But it's a great book to pick up ahead of Christmas, but it's also a wonderful book to have on your Christmas list, and you can bring it all the way through next year. So anyway, let's get right on into it. It was great to talk with her. Before we do though, just a couple things. Number one, a few of you got in touch with me and said that the last week's episode was on the Festival of the Arts, and I said, oh, it's frustrating about the portraits and not being able to always get a picture in it. So a couple people got in touch with me and said that there are photo pass photographers at some of the larger ones. Not all of them, and especially not the small ones, but there are photo pass photographers by the large ones. So correction made. And the next week is American Thanksgiving. And so I have some surprises. Well, yeah, I guess I have one big surprise, and I can't wait to show it to you. That's a hint. But I'm also going to try in the next couple weekends to catch up on social media, and especially because I really want to take photos of these awesome books and the recipes and all of that stuff, and I want you to be able to see them too. So get prepared for a little bit of an onslaught of that. Also, my trip is coming up to Disney in a few weeks, and I got an Olaf pin wearing a Santa's hat. So I just wanted to let you know in advance that if you're going to be at Disney that same week, that first week of December, like I am, and you see me around the parks and I'll have my little Olaf pin on, please come over and say hello, because that'd be really awesome. But I'll mention that. I'll talk a little bit more about that next week. Okay, let's get into it. Hello, Ashley. I'm so excited to have you on the Disney Solo Magic podcast, the #1 podcast for solo travel to Disney World. Although we're really talking about bringing Disney Solo Magic at home today, and your books are a huge part of that. So thank you so much for coming on. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. As you said, my name is Ashley Kraft, and I'm currently living in Minnesota. I'm a mom of three kids. I have a 12-year-old, an 11-year-old, and an 8-year-old. and so
Is
a
he?
bit of a handful. I do write full time. I'm currently working on a book, so I always have projects going for that, and I'm a huge Disney fan, so I have published five Disney cookbooks and one Universal cookbook. So huge fan. I love bringing the magic home.
Yeah, it's really exciting. And I was saying to you, we're here to talk about the unofficial Disney Parks Holiday Cookbook. You can also see all my tabs that I want to talk about. But I was like, I've already known your work because I have the unofficial Disney Parks Cookbook, non-holiday ones. So
Yep.
that's really exciting. And what are the other ones that you have?
So I have my second book is the drink recipe book. So it's like a little bit smaller size because it's kind of like a bar copy, but it
Yeah.
has it does have some cocktails, but it's mostly like slushies, milkshakes, things like that. So it's all drinks. And then the Epcot one was my next book. And then I wrote the Universal book yet next, and then I have Disney Parks restaurants. So that's all like meal type food, and then the holidays one. So
Yeah, and what was really great about when I got this book, and when I saw that this book was published, I thought, oh my gosh, it'll be so great to let people know that there are some like Disney holiday Christmas recipes, because usually when Disney says holiday, they mean Christmas.
yeah.
But then I was like flipping through, and I was like, oh, hey there, Valentine's Day, hey there, Mardi Gras, and like we'll talk about that a little bit more. But I was so excited to see how many holidays are covered.
Yeah, so I did think it was interesting that my design team decided to make the book this kind of like Christmassy
Yeah.
green because it definitely screams like that kind of holiday.
Yeah.
But it certainly does cover the entire calendar of the year at Disney, including some uh, you know, specific Disney holidays like May the 4th. It also has Celebrate Soulfully, which is their Black History Month, as well as Pride Month. So there's lots and lots of really cool holidays in here that you can bake the whole year.
Yeah, I know. And like I had said, like when I was contacting your publisher, like, oh, it'd be so great to talk about this. Let's get it in before Christmas. And then I was like, oh, but you know what? This is a great Christmas present because now you can spend the whole year celebrating holidays by doing different
Totally.
recipes and things like
Yep.
that. I have a Disney, people can't really see it, but I have a Disney Christmas food shirt on for this. And I also noticed that you did. So so it's
But
not
my,
Christmas specific, but
yeah,
there
yeah.
are.
Feels like it, yeah.
I also have my little gingerbread candle because
Oh,
it's the
so cute. Oh
season.
my
Yeah.
goodness.
So, one of the things that we talk about in this podcast is not just going to Disney solo, but also being able to bring some of that Disney solo magic home. Because so many of the people that listen to the podcast know how, like, healing and how, like, fun and creative it is to go to Disney World parks. But we all know that it's expensive. And when you are going solo, sometimes it's harder to find dates that work. And so, one of the things we've done this year is to focus on some like Disney solo magic things at home, which is why these cookbooks are so great. Have you gone to Disney solo and thought like, oh, it'd be really awesome to capture this feeling and bring it back home? Like, what was that kind of process for you when you were developing these recipes?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I used to work at Disney World, so I did
Oh,
two Disney college programs. So my first one, I was in attractions at Animal Kingdom working on Expedition Everest, and I was in concierge at Old Key West and Saratoga Springs resorts.
oh,
So
wow.
I have had the pleasure of getting to spend a lot of time at Disney World, and it, more specifically, like time that I wasn't paying for, if that makes sense. Like, and this comes into my next point, which is like
Yeah.
my favorite thing is going to Disney when you like have an annual pass or if you're a cast member or whatever, and you don't have to feel like you are trying to make every minute worth your while. And that is a rare thing for most people. So I know that that's a precious thing that not everybody gets, but that's my favorite thing is just to feel the vibes of Disney World without having to feel like you are getting your money's worth. And one of my very favorite things to do when I travel solo to Disney World is to spend time in Batuu at Galaxy's Edge. I'm a
Mm,
massive Star Wars fan. I have my screen blurred, but I have so much Star Wars stuff in here because I'm a really big Star Wars fan. But um, I really like going to Batuu in costume if I can, if I have the
yeah.
suitcase space, and just spending time there, people watching, or I will bring my sabacc cards and play cards, or I will bring my notebook and I will work on my writing. And that is, like you were saying, where I get this inspiration moment because I do like bringing my notebook with me and writing down ideas about things that I see, things that I smell, different kinds of elements that I'm trying to capture. So I think that's like the coolest thing you can do is to try and have those like vibes, I guess, come home with you.
For sure, for sure. I mean, that's what's been really interesting about the podcast is how many people say like their favorite thing to do solo is just to like breathe in the
Yep.
vibes of it
Yep.
all because there is so much and it is such a creative hot spring. And I think that when you go by yourself, you can feel a lot of pressure to like do all the rides and everything as well. But when you're with others in particular, maybe you all aren't talking about like whether or not you really wanted to do all the rides, right?
Yeah.
So it to be able to go by yourself, to be able to feel those vibes and things like that, I think is really is such a core part of solo travel. What was kind of the first recipe or writing that you came up with in being able to have some of this time to like have downtime at Disney to just kind of bring in the vibes?
Um, well, the first recipe that I ever created was so I used to have a blog that at the time I think was called Crafted from the Kingdom, and it was a like it th this was where my inspiration came from in order to write a book in the first place. But I used to have
Mm,
this blog that I not only had recipes on there, but I also had travel tips and behind the scenes info, stuff like that. And but it was my recipes that really stood out and people really liked, so that's kind of why I went with that. But the very first recipes that I have on the website are LeFou's Brew and Gaston's Tavern cinnamon rolls, and those are still some of my most popular recipes. But um, that land, when that was new, I felt like it was a new era of Disney that they had created this very special, fully immersive space that really did feel like Belle's France. And
totally.
I love sitting in that section of the park and feeling those vibes there too, just like in Batu. And I remember thinking like I really like this cinnamon roll. I really like this drink. Like I think this is a really good like mixture of the apple and the cinnamon and all that stuff coming together. And so that gave me the inspiration to come home and create these recipes.
Yeah, I think I love that. I love that is like was a source of inspiration for you. And what's great is that people can also come home and kind of figure out these recipes or they can just look at yours.
Yep.
Right? Because
Yep.
there is like this nice generation of people that have done so much of this thinking and tinkering and all of this stuff and to be able to come up with some really cool things like you have.
Hmm.
I visited the new Fantasyland like I guess within a year of its opening, and so I have one of the original LeFou Brew like
Stein
mugs.
cups.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I don't know how the sticker is still on it or like because they put it right in it and not like the cup in the cup. And
Yeah.
so I also have a lot of like sensory memories of that. Do you have other foods and drinks at Disney World that just kind of like or like the scents and the smells that just completely like spark memories for you when you're cooking at home?
I mean, pretty much everything. Like that I feel like is the
You're just in
whole.
your own like private magic kingdom in your
Yeah.
brain while your kids are
Yeah.
like running around you. Yeah.
But that's really where so much of this came from because um I started writing the first book during the pandemic was when
Oh,
my very
yeah.
first book was written and published. And so I was trying to bring the magic of Disney parks into my home for my kids and I. And we actually did a like staycation at Disney that we did at home during the pandemic that we like had an entire day's worth of meals. So we had like a buffet breakfast, and then we did like we watched the POV rides on the TV, and then I took like their shirts that all had Mickey on them, and we did a pretend shopping trip in one of their bedrooms. Like it was very much like trying to bring that magic into the house, into the home, and I loved that. I love that my books have been able to do that for a lot of people. That it's been able to bring that and have those sensory memories. Because I think that not only can these books like bring those memories into your home, but can actually as well the other direction prep you for a trip. So if you're getting
Mm.
excited like to go to a trip, it's fun to try out some of these recipes and things that you're looking forward to ahead of time.
And then you can compare
Yeah,
when you get there. Yeah.
exactly.
Well,
Are
when I
you
was
up to snuff?
Yeah. Well, what I thought you were going to say is like it not only helps you like connect with the like memories once you're there. I love the idea of prepping for it, but I was also thinking like enhancing those memories because Disney can be such an overwhelming place, especially if it's your first or second time, and especially
Yeah.
if you have some anxiety about solo travel. That to be able to be like, okay, I'm going to focus on creating these particular recipes and like think about my trip and think about these
Hmm.
flavors, it can kind of consolidate memories a little bit more, I think.
Yep. And a trip may only be a few days, maybe a week if you have a great trip or something, but the memories last a lifetime. That's
Mhm.
what you get to carry with you and that anticipation before you go. So if you just say I'm only on the ground for 3 days or whatever, that's fine. But if you say, I get to be excited about my trip ahead of time and I get to think about my trip afterwards, you've just taken a 3 day trip and made it into a 3 year, a 3 generation, however long you keep those memories with you.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that so many of us who are drawn to Disney as adults, especially going solo, you're looking for those little kind of sparks and glimmers of like safety and healing and fun and
Yeah.
magic, and
Yeah.
to have that in your kitchen is a really kind of special way to help bring some of that closer to you.
Yeah, Disney is such a great place for adults to have these solo travel moments because it's one of the few places that adults are allowed to play and
Mm,
to feel whimsy
yeah,
and to be okay and feel, like you said, safe in that environment because there's so few opportunities that we get to play. That's why I said, like, I love to dress up when I go to Disney, and that may be childish, but that's the whole point is like to return to that place of when things were easy and when things you didn't have to think about the adult stuff. And
yeah.
it's nice to return to that for a little while.
Yeah, and one of the things we talk about in the podcast too is like, especially for women or femme people, just like the level of safety. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, right, I don't need to like have that nervous system on to be able to like think about other safety issues. I
Yeah.
can really just be here and enjoy myself and not have to
Yeah.
worry about other safety issues. So how about Disney during the holidays for you? Like well, how about Disney during Christmas for you? What are some like smells and tastes and things like that, or even just memories that you associate with Disney and the Christmas season? Because even if you don't celebrate Christmas, you, as a cast member, I assume you were there during these busy times of year.
Yeah, it can get very busy. Of course, like that's some of the busiest times at Disney to go during the Christmas holidays. But yeah, it's definitely a special time of year to visit. The Festival of the Holidays happens at Epcot, and that is really fun. And it's not only fun to, like you said, even if you don't celebrate Christmas, there's a lot of great holidays that you can celebrate, and we do talk about it in both in my holidays cookbook as well as the Epcot cookbook. But they do also talk a lot about Hanukkah, as well as like some holidays that are adjacent to that, like Santa Lucia or other countries and how they celebrate. And I think that's really fun because I love when we can make the world smaller and that we can
Mm.
learn more about other cultures. And I think that Epcot does a great job of that, that you can sort of learn about a lot of different places at once. And Christmas is interesting because it's like a microcosm that, especially if you're teaching your kids about how other countries celebrate, or teaching yourself if you don't know, You can learn about each of those things. They often have storytellers or performers that can teach you about those things. So it's really fun, and I do have a lot of great memories of that.
Yeah, it was funny when I was flipping through the book, I immediately flipped onto some Hanukkah pages. So, like the chicken and matzo ball soup, which
Hmm.
is a great recipe, and the potato knish, which is really great.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? Oh, an egg cream. I have not seen that at Epcot, but I would love to try an egg cream.
Yeah. Yeah, some of these recipes are like, they could have been released some year just once or whatever. Like this is sort of just a slice of what I discovered from the menus, at one point in time. So that's the other nice thing about these cookbooks is that it freezes some recipes that may never come back again. That you can try them at home that you might not otherwise be able to get again at Disney.
Yeah, I love that. It's like a bit of an archive
Yeah,
of things because things do stay the same, but they also change. And especially with those food booths, like you might actually like it when it changes every year at the
yeah,
International Festival of the Holidays. But to be able to say, oh, here are some just kind of like holiday things that will stay static because I can make them at home, that's really great.
right. Yeah,
So let's talk about the organization of this book. What's interesting is that it's not organized by holiday, but by park,
yeah,
which I think is just a really cool way to kind of explore cooking through the holidays and bringing some of that Disney solo magic into your home.
yep,
So you have like Disneyland, and then you have the four Disney World parks. You have Disney California Adventure, Disney Springs, Downtown Disney, and then the hotels, which is really great. Was there was there some pros and cons you were thinking of organizing it by location versus holiday?
yeah. For me, I felt like doing it by holiday makes more sense. Um,
Okay.
And and if you look, there's an index in the back that does separate them by holiday, so
Okay.
you can easily search for it that way. But basically, it was just some of these holidays are on the obscure side, and so to have only two Mardi Gras recipes versus 10 Halloween ones or whatever, that kind of made for some lopsided chapters. So it was more like just trying to balance out some of the bulk of the book in that way. But I do think it is fun to be able to organize it that way in the fact that if you go to the parks, then you can more easily find what you're looking for when you're there. So if you're at California Adventure, then you know what you're looking for easily.
Right, but I think also it's like maybe you would never flip to the Mardi Gras section or flip to the Lunar New Year section, but
Sure.
now if you're like, "Oh, let's take a look at what the Epcot section has or what the California Adventure Park
Yep.
has," then you're like, "Oh, I think I could try this. Like
Hmm.
this might be a cool thing to do during Lunar New Year."
Yeah. And that may be like if you're a Disney World girly, then you might not even celebrate Lunar New Year or whatever as much because that really is focused on the West Coast rather than the East. So it is cool to get to do things from the parks that you might not visit very often.
For sure. I mean, as somebody that mainly goes to Walt Disney World. Whenever they're like, we have Lunar New Year stuff, I'm really excited.
Yeah.
And then I see that Disney World, they've just pulled the same things off the menu and said they're like Lunar New Year specials. And
Yeah.
at Disneyland, there's like dragons and like whole things, and
Whole thing. Yeah.
it's very I get very jealous. So it was cool to be able to see I could like do some things this year with the recipes in the book.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite recipe?
Probably not. I love so many of them. So it's definitely hard to pick. There's just like on the front cover, they kind of have a selection of different choices here. So just like looking at these, I have you ever had the Dole Whip nachos before?
Well, no, because I have an allergy to pineapple, so I have to
Oh,
be really careful. Oh gosh, you look
okay.
so
Well,
sad.
Yeah, well, this one that's on the front cover, kind of behind the white star here,
Yeah, yeah.
is the
Yeah.
like Easter ones, and I don't think it has pineapple in it because they
Oh,
are,
okay.
I think, like raspberry and cotton candy, but um that's like it's so good and it's really fun and easy to share and it's just a fun way to like eat ice cream. So there's just a lot of cool recipes in here that have a lot of different applications like that. Like if you're sharing with friends, or I always say like the beverages are great because they're really easy to put together. So if you want just a dash of magic really quickly and easily, then making a slush or a milkshake or a mocktail or a cocktail or whatever is something that's really easy that you can put together. So yeah, there's lots of good choices.
Well, one of the things that I immediately had like flipped was the Love Potion
Hmm.
gelato like milkshake for
Yeah.
Valentine's Day. And I was like, yes, this is just, it's so fun to be able to like put that together. And I loved that, like that Love Potion one. But then there was, yeah, the Thanksgiving leftover sandwich. And that was
Uh-huh.
both in the like Disney Spring section. This is from Homecoming, inspired by Chef Art Smith's Homecoming.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, right, yeah, like to spend some time in those restaurants at Disney Springs is pretty cool, but also to like try it at home.
Yeah. And that may be something that you talk a lot about with solo Disney travelers, because if you're a solo traveler who's going to the Orlando area for a conference or something like that, you may not have the time to go to the parks, but you may have the time to go to Disney Springs. So that's a great place to explore, spend time, grab those vibes without actually having to visit a park.
Yeah, that's such a great tip. Especially because if you are going for a conference and you're very Disney curious, and I put that in quotes, and so
Disney
you just
curious.
you say to your colleagues like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe I'll just like go to Disney Springs. We'll
Just for
just
a sec,
see,
yeah.
maybe I'll see a Mickey Mouse
Yeah.
doll. I don't know." And then you're like, "Oh, yes, this is where I live and belong and need to spend more time." It is great to be able to like bring some of those recipes home to the ones that are like third party to Disney as well.
Yep.
Yeah. I identified a few things that people might be interested in kind of sooner rather than later. So you have this pumpkin fudge from Big Top Souvenirs and it's
Mm.
listed as Halloween, but I guess I thought of it more as like Thanksgiving, and I know American
Oh.
Thanksgiving's coming up, that it'd be like kind of a fun thing to kind of do. And then yeah, the like the leftover sandwich I thought also was a something good for American Thanksgiving. And then for Christmas, I was really excited about the Christmas wreath donuts because that is from Main Street. Because I have never thought of making donuts, but you make them sound very easy to make,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool. And then what was the other? Oh yeah, the s'mores hot chocolate from Animal Kingdom. I was like, oh, I know exactly what mug I would want to use as well, and just bring all that together. Like it was just really exciting to go through.
hmm Yeah, it is. And like you were saying, it's so fun. You just mentioning these recipes that I don't know if your viewers know, but this book came out a year ago. So,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
yeah, so I haven't like I have a more recent book that I have been promoting, so I haven't looked through
That's
this book
not a
in a
Disney
while.
book. I
Not a
learned
Disney book,
earlier,
something
not a
else.
Disney
Yes,
book. Yep.
sorry everyone.
And
Um,
probably from what we learned too, not as much sugar in that one.
yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
Well, definitely not as much, but certainly not skimping on the sugar. So don't worry about it. I don't do low sugar cookbooks,
Right.
but just as you're going and talking about these recipes, everyone that you mention, immediately it's like a slideshow in my head about when I had them, like at the
Oh
park. So
gosh.
it really is just like I'm having these flashbacks of the fun and the memories, and it's so cool. So like I am excited for everybody to try these because you get to have those experiences at home yourself.
I love that, like, because now we're just adding to that slideshow, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Is there
absolutely.
anything you want to share with us? Anything you want to share with the class?
Oh, just like I mean, when you're talking about the s'more hot chocolate, like I most of these trips, I didn't do most of them. I didn't do most of these trips solo, but I had solo days within them But usually when I took, so this book, out of all the books that I did, took the most research because I had to visit the parks many times during the year in
Oh, I'm
order
so sorry to
to.
hear that.
I
I'm
know it
so
was like such
it was
such
it
a
sounds
hard
real
time for me.
tough for you. Yeah. Thoughts and
uh,
prayers.
I just yeah, so like I ended up going like every other month for 2 years, like to
Right.
try and hit all the holiday seasons throughout the year to get all these recipes. So it really was a very special time of my life, a very blessed time of my life. But usually I invite another adult to come with me, and so I leave my kids at home and I take a sister or a brother or a friend or whatever, and we go and do these trips. And so it's such a fun time to be able to have adult time at Disney. Like it's very different and it's very special. But yeah, like for the drinks book, which ended up being some of the research for this one, I was with my sister Jamie, who's my older sister, and we are kind of we're not super close in age, so we don't always get to spend a lot of time together, and we live across the country from each other. But this was a trip that we got to go and spend time with each other. And so just thinking about, we had like it was research for the drinks book, and so we were just drinking, not alcohol, but just like.
We were just drinking a lot. It was
No,
great.
we were drinking a lot. It was zero alcohol. We weren't drinking any alcohol, but it was like, oh, I don't know, we were having 20 beverages. Like it was so much liquid that we were just consuming, and we were so sugared up, and it was just such a good time. And so I think about like the s'mores hot chocolate, like you can't have more sugar like in a cup than that. And so just imagine drinking 20 of those in a day. Like that was my life for a little while.
That's really funny. That's really funny. Well, I'm glad it has like good memories with other people. Like cuz there's the opposite of that too because like especially I can imagine like if one was like a busy mom and like your kids are running over and they want all these like expensive drinks and
Yeah.
you just are like drinking the dredges of what they had
Yes.
and then you make it at home and you're like, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to reclaim this memory for me."
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
great. And I do
Yeah.
feel that way. Like as I said, I have 3 kids. A lot of my Disney trips have been with them, and it's not always good times. Like there's absolutely like fights, there's struggles. It's rough. And so when you get to reclaim those, you get to spend the time that you want at home making and consuming these treats. So that's true. I really like that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This was such a great conversation. I'm really excited to dive into the book and like start making things as solo at home too. I often find that just like, you know, when you're cooking for one, it's like blah, 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 whatever, whatever. But when you can cook around things that already have memories, it's a really special experience. And so, yeah, I'm excited to like try the donuts and like try these different things. And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'm really excited.
Food is not just about fueling your body. It's about being intentional with the things that you create and realizing that that is an artistic outlet, not just
Mhm.
something that you're putting in your body. So I love that you said that even even solo at home, you can make that an intentional special moment. So thank
Yeah,
you.
creative and healing, as we
Yeah.
learned in Encanto, for example.
Yeah.
And so many people are drawn to Disney for that healing, as I've mentioned, and so to like start practicing that at home because most of us aren't close enough to be there all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm not a Star Wars fan. I'm not anti Star Wars. It's just like not my thing. But I do feel like in advance of Star Wars, we should do like a mini episode where you just like talk about the May 4th recipes and
Oh, please, yes. I can dress up in my dress Jedi
yeah,
robes. I can bring out all the good stuff. So
all
yeah,
of those things.
absolutely.
Yes, I will have limited questions. I will just give you prompts to be like and talk about the next thing.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll make everything and just line it up here and just be eating it.
Yeah, okay, that sounds great. Although I am jealous now that you will get to eat the things, but it's
You
okay.
can make it too.
Yes, that's right. Of course I can.
just gonna watch.
That's right. It's a cookbook. Of course I
Yeah,
can make
that's
it
the
too.
thing. That's
Yes.
the thing about it. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that'll be really fun. Yes, I will make things too. We will compare how good they look.
Yeah,
I think that sounds awesome. So it was wonderful to talk with you, although this was published last year. And then like, there's the unofficial Disney book generally. And then I think like coming back on to talk about Epcot maybe in the new year would be awesome as well.
for sure. Yeah, I'd love to come back.
Okay, great. So, how can people like get in touch with you, learn more about your work, learn more about the recipe books that aren't as Disney focused?
Yeah, all my content is on Instagram for the most part. So my Instagram handle is Unofficial Taste Tester. So if you want to check out what I've got going on there, I'm usually eating something. So come and hit me up. Books are available online. Probably Amazon is the easiest way to get to it, but SimonandSchuster.com. If you search Ashley Craft, all my books will come up on there, and you can choose your retailer.
Okay, great. And the links to all of that are below, including some affiliate links to Amazon, both Canadian and American, if people find that easy or easier. But this was great, Ashley. It was so wonderful to meet you. I'm excited to bring some of the holidays, not just Christmas, home to have some more Disney magic. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey Solos, it's Samantha. I hope you enjoyed this episode and all the episodes of Disney Solo Magic, the #1 podcast for solo travel to Disney World. You can reach me on all of the different social media. All of those links are in this description below. You can also listen to this podcast on Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube. It'd be really great if you rated, reviewed, and subscribed. It's really a wonderful way to let other people know about the podcast. And as you know, we also have a Patreon where you can get bonus content, you can get bonus episodes, you can get all of the videos of us doing the solo stories, and a whole bunch more. So come and join us on Patreon. And thanks again for listening to the podcast. Bye.